So I assume that you have already joined the orientation session for revised classes. Now this is the second orientation, that's a subject specific orientation. Last session we have done with why we need revised classes, how to revise it, what is the core approach, how it is different, because when it comes to competitive exam, always time is a constraint factor. Time is a constraint factor. So we'll be discussing in brief about how to revise geography. How to revise geography. Say if I immediately ask you, can you take test on geography for upcoming prelims exam? What would be your response? Now I am giving immediately exam on demand for geography, 100 questions, 2 hours. What is your response? Participants, online students, can you please confirm? What is your response? Not prepared? Or need to revise once? I have done some portion, 30% I have done, physical I have done, human geography pending, Indian geography pending, current affairs pending, map pointing pending, or even I have done one reading, again my mind will say that I need to revise one more time. Even after completing geography, then you will be reading another subject, then the fourth subject, by the time you complete 3 subjects, and in the case of fourth subject, again you will be saying that I need to revise first 2 subjects. In the month of April and May, now you will be under the enormous stress. You don't worry about uncovered syllabus, again you will worry about what you have already done. Ancient medieval I have done, then again I will think that I need to revise ancient medieval before going to modern history. Here, what is the issue? Retention, recollection. If you are having retention and recollection, you will feel confidence and confidently you will take the question paper. Otherwise, you will take silently and keep it. Keep it for tomorrow. What is it tomorrow? You keep on postponing. Then you will say that if I take exam just before the exam, my confidence levels will be diluted, repeated. The fresher also will do the same mistake. So now what the students will do always is that they are always in the assumption that let me read it, let me revise it, let me read it, let me revise it. In that approach, you will have the always problem of retention. Time is not adequate. Then in the month of May you will say HMPV virus is coming, lockdown like 2020, exam may be postponed, or at least if 1 week is there, 10 days is there, at least I can revise what I have done. Then in the month of April you will search top 100 topics, important topics, current affairs, 6 months compilation, PT 365, like that you will go for fast revision, quick revision. Now you are assuming that you have time to revise it entirely from first page to last page, like that for all the subjects. Then you will be realizing the practical limitation only in the month of March, April, May. Only in the month of March, April and May. Again, what is the requirement? The confidence is required, clarity is required. Confidence and clarity is required for the UPSC. Whatever I study, whatever I revise, whether I may have 100% clarity and confidence. That's it. Are we clear? So if I say the same question, if I ask the same question, if I give the question paper, you will say that, sir, I have not completed. Even if I complete, is there any guarantee that you will be scoring 100 plus or 80 plus, 90 plus? There is no guarantee. Now you will say, sir, UPSC unexpected, sir, whatever we study, it won't come. I focused ancient, they asked medieval. Are we clear? I focus map pointing, no question on map pointing. I completely relied on current affairs, but the portion of current affairs are very static. It means the composition of the subjects is the discretion of UPSC. That's why we feel that it's always dynamic, unpredictable. The weightage of the subject is dynamic. If you focus on medieval history, they will focus on ancient. If you focus ancient medieval, they will focus on modern. If you focus all, they will go with art and culture. It means they have intelligence in such a way that whatever the coaching institutions are brainstorming to the students, they will negate in the question paper. That's it. Are we clear? So from 2015, 2011, 2013, where there is a drastic change in the pattern of the exam. In 2011, you know that CSAT and paper 1 has been introduced. 2013 mains has been revamped, and 2015 they made CSAT as a qualifying paper. Now whatever the pattern now you are having, now again assertion reason, elimination techniques has been diluted, guesswork has been reduced. What is the indication of UPSC? We want clarity. Whatever you study, whether you have clarity or not, that's it. We don't want 100% information, we want 100% clarity. In such cases, what is the approach? Again the same question. If I ask you, Mr. X, can you take the exam? You will say that all the reasons. Now what is the confidence you require? To get the subject to be taken or tested, what you will be assuming? You might have taken coaching or self-study or NCERT, self-note making, your own notes, current affairs or standard books. Again you have to read it one more time. Read it one more time. By the time you complete it, again chapter 1, chapter 2, historical underpinnings, you will say that confusion. Because of confusion, you will get the question of doubt, whether A is correct, B are correct. You may assume that A is correct, after checking key, it will be B. All errors will become, all your trials will become errors only. What is the approach? What is the approach? Generally, the student is saying, the student is following outer core approach, that is crust approach. Say they'll say like this. They'll open the first page to last page, then they'll complete the chapters. Once they complete the chapters, they'll refer PYQ, then they'll go to current affairs. Once they've done it, then they'll see the test series, then they'll go to the exam. This is the core. In reality, what happens is that I start with the chapter, so first chapter or few chapters or 10 chapters. By the time I will come here, again my brain will say that, no, you already forget, go back. Are you getting? To reach the core, your mind is not allowing. It is saying that, okay, you completed half of the portion. Are you confident about the completed portion? You completed half portion of the subjects. Maybe 3 subjects or 4 subjects. Again, you will be going back. You will be going back, whatever you study. But what UPSC is saying, this is the space, this is your space. You are increasing your space, you are increasing the limits, increasing the standard textbooks. Slowly you are coming to the core. This is the core. What is the core? Exam. If one subject they are asking 10 to 12 questions, 8 questions will come from the core. Remaining 4 questions, that 4 questions will come very sparsely. Students always worrying about these 4 apples instead of not realizing that you have already 8 in this core. In order to get these 4 apples, you study the compilations, voluminous material, colorful material, standard textbooks. You may think that this question, which is not repeated in the NCERT, has been asked in this author. One YouTuber will say, another senior repeater or Ashok Nagar pastor will say, no, this book they have asked history questions. Art and culture questions came from this one. So there is no guarantee. Next year also these 4 apples may come from here. But remaining 8 questions will always come from core. Now what is meant by core approach? How to deal it? Because now you are writing prelims exam, there shall be guarantee. There shall be at least simple majority. You are not writing the exam for absolute special majority. You are not writing to amend the constitution. If you get the simple majority, you can run the government. You can qualify for the mains exam. That's it. To clear that one, what is the target? Should I read all the subjects? First question. Should I read all the subjects, all the chapters? Should I read all the chapters, all the pages? Students will assume that I need to read all the subjects. I need to read all the chapters. I have to read all the material. NCERT, standard books, current affairs, latest, updated, and test series. They'll plan it. They envision it. What is the issue? Time is a concern factor. Because of time is a concern factor, now you slowly, summer is coming, heat generates, pressure is coming. Then you will say that, So you'll take the whole edition, then you'll say what is the strategy. Prelims strategy, 100 days approach, 30 days approach, last minute approach, 45 days approach. Like that you'll search in the Google or YouTube in the last 50 days and 60 days. Now parallelly there is a CSAT phobia for some students. Now my approach is core approach. My approach is core approach. What is meant by core approach? I'm not starting from my crust. I'm starting from the center. Center is my exam center. That is your CivicCentre. My center is what? I need to start from, I need to take the risk now itself. Now I'm starting from the exam. Now immediately if I conduct one test, at least repeated concepts, popular concepts. First you need to think that the test is not to get the marks. Test is to test your present understanding of exam requirement. That's the first phobia. You remove that. The test is to, please loud. Because of not knowing this one, students don't take the test. They collect the question paper and they will assume that if I read it, revise it, then I can easily solve it. No need to solve it. Why I need to solve it? The first step is, first you shall have the confidence to take the test immediately. By taking the test, you realize that how much content or clarity or concepts or chapters you have already have it. Now then I'll say that after realizing that, then I need to revise each subject like this. Whatever the subject like this, the subject can be divided into static and dynamic. Static plus dynamic. What is the meaning of dynamic and static? Static is important concepts or fundamental concepts, repeated concepts, not all concepts. When you start your coaching in PCM batch, prelims batch, they will state what is geography, divisions of geography, physical uncertainty, human geography, applicative geography, biogeography. That's your knowledge. They don't ask. What they will ask? Repeated concepts, popular concepts, fundamental concepts. How to know the static part? You just look into the PYQs. Collect the themes. Every year they are asking not less than 10 to 12 questions for any subjects. Minimum to minimum I am taking 12, and last 15 years I may get around 150 to 200 questions. What is the meaning of questions? It's a themes, or in your simple terms we can say topics. So 200 themes or 150 themes, if I revise it with 100% clarity, with 100% confidence, in the context of the PYQ that has been asked, they may ask you consider the following statements in order to study the interior of the earth. They will give comparison, P waves, S waves, Rayleigh waves, L waves. By seeing the question, you think that if I read NCERT, the same question has been appeared, I could have been answered it. Or another question can be a indirect sources to study the interior of the earth. In that context, you should also know the direct sources of studying the interior of the earth. Now, what is meant by static in our concept? Fundamental concepts, repeated concepts, core concepts, popular concepts, not all concepts. That is not required. You are not writing MCET exam or JEE exam. Narayana Parana 160 ki 150. That is not required. You know, last year cutoff is 75 marks. The cutoff marks for general category varies from 75 to 105. In 2017 it's 105. Last year 2023 75. 2024 we are expecting that it may be plus, because CSAT this time, 2024 was moderate as compared to 2023. So these concepts will give the clarity of the subject. Assuming that you have done one reading, even without reading one reading, or just attended the classes, that is more than enough. That is more than enough in order to understand these static concepts, PYQ concepts with 100% clarity. Whatever the question that is coming up in this 200 concepts, you should not make mistake. If there is a question on El Nino, again you should not confuse what is El Nino and La Nina. Now, dynamic, which most of the freshers or seniors will postpone it for last. I assume that you know, so let me complete my static part. Then they'll keep on postponing dynamic part. In our revised classes, the dynamic part is covered in such a way, we'll be taking last 6 to 10 months current affairs related to your chapters, and there itself will be revising it. Recently earthquake happened, Santa Ana, which is in news, local winds. While studying the local winds, climatology will be going back to that one, why it happened, what were the reasons. There is a possibility that they may link with static and dynamic. So every month you don't have more than 10 to 15 concepts related to your respective subject. So even if I take minimum of 10, maximum of 15 into 6 months, how many I may get? Not more than 100. So 100 plus 200, how many? 300 concepts. Now, if I clearly revise it with 100% clarity in the context of exam requirement, now do you feel confidence? Do you feel confidence? Now if I ask you, Mr. X, can you take the exam on geography? What would be your answer? Definitely will come. Your mind is saying that yes, I have done important concepts like geography, all the subjects I have done. Current affairs also I have revised. Just before the exam, you can quickly go through the concepts. Their rock cycle will be there. There you may think that you need to revise it one more exclusively again. It don't take more than one day. So this confidence and clarity is required to the exam. Now on geography, if I conduct 100 questions test, how many marks you can score? Minimum 65 questions you can answer, no? Minimum 65 questions you can answer. Again, there itself, you may not able to answer over 15 to 20 questions. Don't worry. From this 15 to 20 questions, you will get another apple in your pocket. The static concepts and dynamic concepts is your 8 questions. By taking this subject revision test of any institution, no need to criticize any institution, you take any institution question paper of subject wise. You take the test, now you can see whether this concepts of static and dynamic is relevant, is adequate. Then based on the test, you can easily, confidently answer 65 questions. There may be chances that 20 to 30 questions you are not able to answer. Maybe no clarity, or not studied, newly studied, uncovered syllabus, because you are not reading all the concepts. Is it a worrying factor? So from this 20 questions, 20 concepts, if you selectively revise these unknown questions which you are not able to attempt in this test, you will get one apple. Take one more test of another institution, you will get one more apple. 8 plus 2, 10 questions out of 13 or 14. Will it be adequate? More than enough. Now this is my core approach. I'll be confining to static. So the static I'll be completing. Dynamic parallel I'll be completing. Now I have completed now. Again going back now. Core you are now again strengthening. That's it. Don't stop. Don't expand further. If you again expand, again you have to increase your spiral, which will consume lot of time. So how we have done? Take the test, PYQ concepts, complete it, 400 concepts, again one more time, back. Now I can take the test. I'll get 1. You take another test series of subject test of your friend, then he will shake. How this guy is completing like this? Because even if you say n number of reasons, always students is worrying about this planets. ఎక్కడో ఉన్న planets గురించి ఆలోచిస్తూ ఉంటారు. మీ దగ్గరలో ఉన్న మార్స్ గురించి ఆలోచించు. Are you getting my point? So this way is effective. Is it effective? Is it more relevant? Confident building? Is it stressful? You are within the Goldilocks zone. What is a Goldilocks zone? It's a habitable zone. It's no extreme. Always simple majority. Indeed, it is absolute majority. So do it for all the subjects. Do it for all the subjects. That is relevant, exam oriented, core approach, result oriented. Save time for mains. In this approach, no need to study for 12 hours, 10 hours. Efficiently, effectively, 6 to 8 hours is more than enough. Efficiently, if you could able to devise for 6 to 7 hours, then save 1 hour or 2 hours till your May 25th for mains exam. 25th May also you have to have this 2 hours for your mains. Mains also same. Whatever the optional you study, take the PYQs, try to get some 10 relevant points. Like that you complete it, revise it one more time, do the writing practice. Then current affairs. Static, you are revising mains concepts through PYQ. Same, mains also same approach. Don't worry that you are writing, but here the mindset is that you assume simply that I am writing India's toughest exam, difficult exam. Why UPSC will ask this already asked questions? That was a mindset. Generally student, when you say that, no, so rely on PYQ, they will assume that, sir, I am writing difficult exam, IAS exam, but this guy is telling that, just confined to PYQ. In order to realize this one's core approach, you will waste at least 3 attempts. Then he will realize why he is not able to clear the prelims exam. You see, many students, even after 3 attempts or 4 attempts, even after going interview also, there is no guarantee that they will clear the prelims exam. Prelims is a mental barrier. And you think that you have a lot of content to read it, remember and retain. The mains వచ్చిన తర్వాత mains ఏదో ఒకటి రాయించాలి అంటారు. So mains approach also same. Mains also same approach. You take any paper, general studies paper, ethics paper, essay paper, optional paper, take the PYQ concepts, revise those concepts and have the 10 to 15 points. If you could able to collect 10 to 15 points, then the dynamic concepts, combine static and dynamic concepts, invest your time for writing practice. That will be a relevant for mains approach. That is relevant for mains. So in order to implement this strategy, we are having revise classes. So further we are simplifying. As I mentioned that, so as I mentioned, you shall have subject specific approach, a core approach, not crust approach. Core approach lo manam ela veltunam inside to outside. So immediately you take PYQs, take a test, realize your competency, where you are lacking, then divide the subject into static and dynamic. Either you can join revise classes, or if you study yourself, well and good. But our vision is to you shall have the competency of static, and parallelly you have to identify the dynamic concepts. How to identify dynamic concepts? Now you have monthly compilations of more than 3-4 institutions. You take immediately the PDFs of 1 or 2 institutions, have the index, identify the topics from 2 sources and classify into respective subject. If you are studying history or geography or economy, try to identify, classify and keep it for 6 months. That will part of your dynamic concepts. Once you complete dynamic and static, again one more time, then immediately you take the test. Immediately you take the test. If you are getting, and if you could able to attempt 65 questions, that is more than enough. No need to aim for 100%. No need to aim for 100%. Then in that approach, definitely you will get 100 plus. The same static themes, PYQ analysis, current affairs. So now furthermore, to confine to geography. So geography in the syllabus they have mentioned simple in 6th point, India and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. What is physical, what is social, what is economic? I assume that you are aware of it. దాన్ని మనం హ్యూమన్ geography, physical geography అని చెప్తూ ఉంటాము. The subject weightage and the cutoff analysis of UPSC I'll be explaining in a brief period. You try to see that the cutoff from 2017 to 2023 cutoff has been coming down. There are two indications related to cutoff. Why cutoff is coming down is that paper is changing. Have you ever deeply analyzed into UPSC papers? Paper dynamics are changing. Paper composition changes. Say 1 year they don't focus on sports, another year they'll focus on sports. In 1 year they'll focus on agriculture, environment, another year they don't focus on S&T. Like that, the dynamism will be there in the question paper. So the students, what they'll do is that most of the fresher students, they'll confine to 4 Vedas. They assume that history, geography, economy, polity is very important, and the remaining 50% syllabus they don't have time. Even the four main subjects which they assume, they'll confine to static or NCERT or class notes. They plan to revise PYQ or see the PYQs or wanted to take the test series, and it won't happen for majority of the students. That's one reason. Then another reason is that the subject composition by UPSC is changing, and students may not able to complete all the subjects. Even if they complete it and they don't have time to confidently revise 1 or 2 times, so that the clarity will be there. Now another parallel version is that CSAT, if any student or friend of you will say that last year I failed because of CSAT, it is not about failure, it is a blunder, it's a committing suicide. It's a suicide. మనం వెన్నుపోటు ఎదురు దెబ్బ అంటాం చూసా, సో అది మిమ్మల్ని మీరు బోర్చుకున్నట్టే, వెన్నుపోటు బొచ్చినట్టు కదా, యూపీఎస్సీ బొచ్చినట్టుగా, అంతే కదా. You know that there are 67 marks you need to score it. Still you see that CSAT, what they'll do is that they may be strong in maths or weak in English, or strong in English, weak in, that combination is generally C, either set A, set B. What they'll do is that they'll keep on postponing CSAT last 30 days, 2 hours into 60 hours. By the time you are already under pressure for paper 1, giving that 2 hours is also difficult for you. Giving that 2 hours for 30 days is also difficult for you. Then you will, okay, CSAT, another assumption is that CSAT, even if you study, it is not having weightage for mains exam. That's another assumption. So in that case, what they'll do is that they mostly attempt 30 to 35 questions or 38 questions, and they'll come between 68 to 70 marks, and they will tally as soon as exam is over. Then 25th night or 26th, then you will take the question paper and key released by institutions. Okay, as per X institute I am getting 71, as per Y institute I am getting 66.6. Then you will say, okay, X is not relevant, Y is relevant. So for CSAT there is approach that now itself you have to invest for 2 hours now. Let us complete it. If you are strong in mathematics, if you are strong in English, as per 2024 paper, paragraph questions are 27, aptitude questions are 37, reasoning questions are 16. Aptitude 37, paragraph 27, reasoning 60. So if you are strong in English, it means from the PYQs from 2011 to 2024, you have to identify easy, moderate, repeated concepts of aptitude and reasoning. At least 20 concepts. Here we don't call concept, here we call it as a models. When it comes to CSAT, no conceptual revision is required. Within the concept, you have models. Say for example, time and distance, time and work. Within the time and distance, time and work, there are n number of models. Don't go to the deep level. You just take the models which has already been appeared in the UPSC exam and try to solve that model only. If you think that model you could able to solve in the final exam, invest your time. If you think that you are not able to solve that model, don't worry. When it comes to aptitude and reasoning, assuming that you are strong in English but not strong in aptitude and reasoning. How many models you are practicing? All the models that are appeared in the UPSC. If it again repeats in the 2025 exam, now what will your mind will say? This model I have solved. This model, just simply they change the numericals. If you could able to solve that model, solve it. No sir, I am not able to recollect at the exam time, skip it. If you are strong in English, in the exam hall, you have to start with aptitude and reasoning. For first 40 minutes, you have to invest your time in order to solve at least 15 questions from aptitude and reasoning for first 30 to 40 minutes. Remaining 1 hour 30 minutes, you have to invest your time for English. What is the reason? What generally student is saying mistake is that if I am strong in mathematics, they will take aptitude and mathematics questions. They will be already in assumption that I am skipping English. It means I should not skip my aptitude and English. Whatever the standard that they are asking in the UPSC exam, prelims exam, I need to solve. Because your mind is saying that you are already targeting or exclusively focusing on aptitude and English. Now I have no option. Whatever the difficulty questions that they ask, you have to solve it. Then you will take challenge. I am a math genius. You will do those calculations, you don't get the answer, again you will go back and you will try to solve it. If you solve it and could not able to get the answer, skip it and go. That's the CSAT logic. No emotion, no challenge. Assume UPSC, respect UPSC, UPSC is great. UPSC is great. UPSC is testing, you are not testing UPSC. But respect has to be there. Otherwise, you will be wasting time in the exam hall. Then the second case is that I am strong in maths and English, weak in English. Sorry, I am strong in aptitude and reasoning, weak in English. Here, what the student is making mistake is that they'll read the paragraph, then they'll read the question, they don't get the answer. Again, they'll read the paragraph again they don't get the answer. And by the time they complete it, exam is over, you'll be left with minimum 15 to 16 paragraph questions. Then you realize that easy questions are given in the last. I don't know how UPSC will frame the question paper. Majority of the experience is same only. As soon as exam is over, whatever A set or B set or C set or D set, you feel the same. Ayyo, easy questions last lo unnai, chodalekayanu, time lede. Time ante easy inko rendu questions chestuntanu. Because you wasted your time in the first 20 questions. They will take care in such a way that first 15 to 20 questions they will test your brain. They will test your psychological competency, your mindset. So you should not worry, even if the 15 questions are first part of your set, even if you could not able to attend first question to 15 questions, even single questions, you should not worry. Remaining 65 questions are there. Remaining 80 questions are there. But you realize that after 15 minutes, this attempt is over. Better luck next time. And I say, then you will think that, easily calculate chestaru. The tempo is gone, confidence is gone, motivation is gone. You realized yourself, this attempt is gone. You give up. You should not give up in the exam. That's the psychology testing of UPSC in the exam hall. Now, as I mentioned that I am weak in English, I am strong in aptitude and reasoning. What I am saying, first 30 to 40 minutes, now I am taking the paragraph questions. I don't read the paragraph first, I'll read the question first. I'll read the question. Only there are three types of paragraph questions, comprehensive questions. One is they'll give the paragraph. From that paragraph, they will ask you the theme of the, what is the major theme that is being described in the paragraph, or they will ask you what is the inference from the paragraph. Paragraph nunchi emi conclusion chestunavu. Another question, from the paragraph, what were the assumption? By taking certain assumption, they will give the paragraph. అంటే ఒక ఇన్సిడెంట్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఆ పారాగ్రాఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అంటే కాంప్రహెన్షన్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అంటే ఒక థీసిస్ ఉంటుంది మనకి ఎకనామిక్ అండ్ పొలిటికల్ వీక్లీ నుంచి ఒక 2 pages ఆర్టికల్ రాస్తుంటారు. దాంట్లో నుంచి ఒక పారాగ్రాఫ్ తీస్తాడు. దాంట్లో నుంచి ఒక పారాగ్రాఫ్ పెట్టి ఇండియన్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ నుంచి ఒక ఎడిటోరియల్ ఆర్టికల్ నుంచి తీసుకుంటే దాంట్లో నుంచి ఒక ఆర్టికల్లో నుంచి ఒక పారాగ్రాఫ్ తీసుకుని వచ్చి క్వశ్చన్ వేస్తాడు. ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ పారాగ్రాఫ్ what is the major theme rightly described? Or inference, what are the inferences? What were the assumptions made? Say simultaneous elections are there, climate change is there, or some countries are fighting bilateral issues. From there they will take the question. Then you see there is assumption and main theme has been pointed in the paragraph. From that poetry, from that article you will be having conclusions. It means from that piece of paragraph whether the student is having competency to link forward, center and back. You see all the types of questions in UPSC, they will test the only 3 types. So if I am assuming that I am weak in English, my approach would be immediately I will be reading the question, I will understand what is the demand of the question, then I will read the paragraph. If I am getting the answer, that is the right answer. If I am not able to answer that question, even if I read 2 times or 3 times, you will be in assumption that you will be getting the answer. There is no guarantee that that answer would be right. It is better to skip it and go to the next question so that you will complete. You will complete all the 27 questions. Out of 27 questions, easily you can answer 10 questions. Next 1 hour 30 minutes, I will take the aptitude and reasoning, 37 plus 16 questions. 37 plus 16 questions, 53 questions are there. Out of 53, now again no challenge. It is not hackathon. It is not hackathon. CSAT is not a hackathon. You have to respect UPSC. Okay, easy questions, medium questions, difficulty questions are there. If you touch difficulty questions, yes, you will win it, but finally you will lose it. Your idea is not to win that question. Your idea is to win the question paper. Now I will be skipping the difficulty question, time consuming questions, then I will be covering all the easy and medium questions. Out of 53 questions, don't you think that there are 35 to 36 questions? 35 plus 10, 45. Always 80 plus you will be in the score. That's a simple strategy, effective strategy, tested strategy, which you have to practice it. It is not theory that you listen and practice in the exam hall. It's just like a car driving. You know, escalator is there, clutch is there, steering is there. If you just stay outside and trying to see that all the tools and controls, and if you start in the exam hall, what will happen? You have to practice. If you practice certainly, you will be having your own set of problems. You will be having your own set of problems. Sometimes you don't read the question clearly. You don't see the not or incorrect. So north to south, east to west, south to north, arrangement, chronology, assertion, reason. So such silly mistakes you have to avoid. Then easily you could able to answer at least 5 to 6 marks. So this is our approach. This is our approach. Now let me show how we are going to deal. So this is a weightage. I'll be updating 2024 also. So now you see that here I have given the mapping of the chapters where you don't find the questions from human geography. Only in the 3 questions are being asked in human geography, that's applicative geography. Now map location, solar system, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography. Then you will go to India map locations. India also you have physical features, river system, climate. Climate, then vegetation, soil, agriculture, resources, industry, trade, transport, tribes and population. Ecology, environment, Ms. Sahaja madam will deal. So I am confining to this part of the geography. Now based on that we will be having the themes. Based on that we will be having the themes. So in the revised class we will be giving the themes list for chapter wise. So this is for masters, our faculty members. For students we will be giving the printed documents where we will be revising to static concepts and dynamic concepts which are mapped in the Google Sheet, where we will be adding the dynamic part. This is the static concepts. These are static concepts. We will be adding chapter wise dynamic concepts also. Then respective chapters then and there will confine to static concepts and dynamic concepts. Then as soon as you complete static and dynamic concepts of geography, then it's an open challenge. You can bring any institution question paper of subject. We'll solve in the live. If you could not able to solve not less than 65, it's a waste. That's it, no? Easily you can solve 65. You take any question paper. As soon as you complete this 400 concepts, so then you take any question paper, then again we'll test. All the club 5 institutions will take, club 5 or top 5, which you think that the top institutions along with the CivicCentre. So we'll give the question papers, you take randomly of your choice, then you solve it, then you can challenge us whether you have completed respective subject or not. Go that way. It is easy. It is not pressure relieving. It is not pressure building. It's a pressure managing. Then you will enjoy the pleasure. Otherwise, as soon as you complete January, then you will count February, March, April, 90 days, then 25 days. So this exam should not command you. You should command your exam. So this is our approach. And we'll be having all the chapters like this: geomorphology, climatology. We have mapped it already. And ఇక్కడ మీరు సోర్సెస్ చూసినా కానీ సింపుల్ సోర్సెస్ ఉంటుంది. NCERT, NIOS, PIB న్యూస్ అంతే. 1 or 2 questions exceptions ఉంటుంది. మీకు you don't find the source from one source. You should not worry about it. సార్ ఈ క్వశ్చన్కి ఇక్కడ నుంచి వచ్చేది కదా, ఈ బుక్ చదవాలా? చదవండి. ఏమవుతుంది? Time consuming. So like that we have mapped for the geography subject. So like that for all the subjects we'll be dealing it. So you confine to that approach. Yeah. What's the time now? Yeah. So this is our effective strategy which we'll be following for geography. So mostly next week we'll be resuming the classes. Meanwhile you try to confine to static and dynamic. What is meant by meaning of static? Fundamental concepts, core concepts. How you will be knowing core concepts? Yeah, PYQ's concepts. So how to revise PYQ concepts? Should I read again your notebook? You can selectively go to your notebook or standard book which you have been reading. 3 sources generally will be there, either NCERT, standard book or your own notebook. Sometimes these 3 sources may not be adequate to solve that PYQ also. In such cases, now you know how to use ChatGPT now. You know how to use ChatGPT, you can rely on ChatGPT. But ChatGPT is not updated. It is not updated. Many cases it is giving wrong information, incorrect answers. You can Google it and collect it. Okay. So map the PYQ concept. From static concepts you will be confining to selective sources only. There again your mind will be saying parallelly, you are skipping this topic. The topic seems to be very important for you. And you will be saying that, you know, I am skipping this part, I am skipping this part. What if the question is coming from this skipped part? You have to come back to always These are the distant planets. You are not going to survive in these planets. Define your Goldilocks zone. Identify your possible core areas only. Now, as soon as you complete this core, if you have time of all the subjects, you complete subject 1, subject 2, all the 8 subjects. Then again you need to revise one more time. Still, if you are having time, then you worry about outer core. Okay? Time is a constraint factor. That's why considering the time as a controlled parameter, which is not your, it is not in your hand. ఈరోజు ఆల్రెడీ యూపీఎస్సీ నోటిఫికేషన్ ఇచ్చింది అనుకుంటాను. సో ఇప్పటి నుంచే కౌంట్ అవుతుంది. నోటిఫికేషన్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత నుంచి ఇంకా ప్లాన్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తుంది. దుమ్ము తీసేసి ఇంతవరకు మెయిన్స్ ఆప్షన్ చదువుదాం, 2 పేపర్లు చదువుదాం, ఎథిక్స్ చదువుదాం, ఎస్ఏ చదువుదాం, డైలీ 4 hours చదువుదాం, 2 hours కాంబినేషన్ చేసి మళ్ళీ కాంబినేషన్ వర్క్ చేస్తారు. పర్మిటేషన్ కాంబినేషన్ వేసి స్లోగా ఇన్ ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ మార్చ్ దే విల్ డిస్కార్డ్ ద మెయిన్స్. దెన్ లెట్ మీ కంప్లీట్ ఫస్ట్ ప్రిలిమ్స్. At least my respect would be restored. Otherwise, if someone says that, what happens your prelims exam, you cannot face it. Repeated failures. Clear? So this is the effective approach, simple approach, relevant approach, repeated relevant approach. That's why we follow in all the programs of CivicCentre only this core approach only. Competitive exams, they are not testing all the concepts. You should not worry about it. We are assuming that UPSC can ask from anything, and you are assuming that you have to read everything. If you are in that assumption that you need to read everything, you are not an aspirant. You are not an aspirant. You don't know the difference between expectation and reality. That's why many competent person, intelligent students also, repeatedly they could not able to clear the prelims exam. It doesn't mean that they are not having knowledge. You ask any concept, they could able to explain it. But given the condition of prelims examination, they fail it. Narrow ga poyindi, 2 marks lo poyindi, 3 marks lo poyindi. So adi prelims lo avakudadu. Prelims lo avakudadu. Clear? So online students, you can ask any doubt or clarification required. So with this I am ending the session. So after this there will be session by Miss Sahaja, so who is academics manager of CivicCentre. She will be handling the ecology and ecosystem. Yeah, please. Chippan.
4 subjects course. వాటిలో ఈ అప్రోచ్ ఫాలో అవ్వచ్చు. కానీ మిగతా సబ్జెక్ట్స్
సేమ్ అండి. అన్నిటికీ సేమ్. కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ ఆల్సో సేమ్.
కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ.
Yes, that's why current affairs is more dynamic than science and technology.
Yes sir, కానీ అక్కడ స్టాటిక్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ని పట్టుకుంటే రిటర్న్ ఎక్కువ రావట్లేదు.
You are not confining to static, no. So as science and technology, so defense technology they'll ask. So integrated guided missile development program, or missiles, ISRO, defense, nuclear technology. Repeated concepts will be revised here. Then on top of it, what you are doing? Dynamic. When it comes to science and technology, current affairs, you will be having more number of questions from dynamic. May not be equivalent to your static. When it comes to subjects like history, geography, economy, polity, you may have significant number of static. But when it comes to subjects like science and technology, current affairs, environment, ecology, you will have dynamic part significant.
Thematic dynamic study.
Yes, thematic dynamic study only I am saying repeatedly. You will be confining to 2 sources of monthly compilations. From that you will be sorting out the dynamic concepts from science and technology or current affairs, ecology, environment. Then you will be confining to thematic dynamic themes and static themes. That is more than enough. Yeah, any other? Online students, any doubt? I assume that there is no further doubts. You are continuing with the same link or same link. So please stay back. Madam already is waiting. She will continue the next session. I think tomorrow, day after tomorrow also you have doubts clarification, orientations on respective subjects. Optional subject also same. Miss or Miss SP. As per Trump, there are only 2 genders, male and female. So you have to confine to the same approach, static and dynamic. What is the main static questions? Themes only, not the syllabus. Then dynamic. In fact, mains we define, mains is newspaper, newspaper is mains paper, to be in the news, read news, including your optional paper. Optional paper is now becoming applicative in nature. Mains paper is newspaper, newspaper is mains paper, to be in the news, read news. Optional paper also you have to confine to PYQ themes. From PYQ themes you have to identify repeated concepts and consolidate precise notes from different sources, and you shall have at least 10 to 15 points because you have to write at least 2 pages there, 2 to 3 pages where the points are important. Minimum 12 points you have to write if it is a 15 marker, and if it is a 10 marker you have to write at least 10 points, that's it. Then the dynamic part, dynamic themes, dynamic concepts related to your optional syllabus combined together, that is your mains preparation. If you are having time, then you worry about other core. First you complete the core, inner core, then outer core, then mantle, then crust. If you go from outside to inside, temperature increases, interior of the earth. What will happen? If you move from crust to core, temperature increases, pressure increases, you don't handle, you will burn. But if you know how to handle from center to the outside, so then by the time you come to the core, from out of core to mantle, you will relax. Clear?
Sir, just now said you were going to give themes.
Yeah.
Along with the content, will be getting any hand?
No, content we don't give. We'll be explaining in the class. We'll be explaining in the class.
Notes you can make.
Yeah, so if you pay attention to in the class, so running notes you can make it. So then based on that you can combine it.
Only themes
Themes
you
only.
will be providing.
Yeah, the theme I showed no here.
These themes will be-
Theme sheet will be given in a PDF format, will be given in printed. We'll be taking the printout. Here we have done with the static part. These are static themes. We need to add the dynamic themes also. One more column will be added where we will be having the dynamic themes from the current affairs. And as soon as we discuss about one chapter, say for example climatology, there itself will deal with static and dynamic themes.